Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your host, MagMongoSlade, and we trudged through Raw. God, I felt like it was, you ever seen Forrest Gump, where Bubba and Forrest is walking through Vietnam, and they're like waist deep in water and mud? That's kind of how this Raw is. It's like you waist deep in sludge. God damn. All right, before we really get into Monday Night Raw, we got a programming note. Papa Slade, my dear old dad, 67 years old today, had cake, we had ice cream. I bought him Hershey with almonds, which he loves, and I bought him a pack of cigarettes. And usually I don't indulge in, as he gets older, I typically try not to indulge in buying him things like cigarettes. I don't like indulging people's bad habits, but I figure what's the worst that could happen? He smoked cigarettes for, since he was 19 years old. So almost, 50 years of smoking cigarettes, and he's still around. No voice box, no, black lung or anything like that. I don't know. He's one of those old guys where you kind of like, he eats trash. I mean, TV dinners and pork sandwiches all the time. And he's still around. Probably healthier than I am. So, salute to old Papa Slade. He's still kicking. Praise God. All right, so now we get into Monday Night Raw. Okay, so Sami Zayn. We're going to do news and notes. And Sami Zayn got run off Twitter for a short amount of time. Everybody's upset. There's a lot of issues surrounding the We Want Cody stuff. People are blowing up. It's everywhere. TMZ's picking it up. Fox News is talking about it. I don't understand why they're involved. CNN, Sports Illustrated, everybody's talking about it. And I have no idea why people are so engaged in this. But this seems to bother some people, obviously. This is getting too much attention for their liking, so they're going to go out there and they're going to morally grandstand and tell you that you should care more about the Vince McMahon lawsuit or the war in Israel or migrants at the border and anything else that happens in the real world. You should care about that more. They're going to chastise you for not spending all your time caring about the issues that they think about. And Sami Zayn decided he was going to do that. And then people promptly told him to shut the fuck up. You were being a killjoy. Nobody wants to hear that right now. So this was the tweets. I know that many people have many opinions about wrestling drama, and maybe I would weigh in, if not for the fact that there are actual tragedies in the world happening daily that make wrestling drama seem largely unimportant. I realized people use wrestling drama as an escape of sorts, and that's fair enough. I'm glad I could play a part in that. This is really more of a me problem. Oh yes, it is definitely more of a you problem. And for a lot of the moral grandstanders that are going on Twitter, it is a lot of as I call it, the performative outrage. People telling you what you should care about. A lot of that stuff is more about the person who wants to do the lecturing than about any issue. Because if the person doing the lecturing actually paid any attention, they would know you don't have any control over these issues. You as a regular person, unless you work in some kind of official capacity, you have no control over these issues. It makes no sense for you to obsess about it. All right? You can let that go. Whether it's Israel and Palestine, whether it's the migrants at the border, whether it's the Vince McMahon lawsuit, we have no control over these things. There's professionals who are going to be involved with the Vince McMahon lawsuit, especially because that's the one thing so many people in the wrestling media and so many of the Vixen fans and all of their acolytes, they're kind of constantly talking about it. And they're trying to constantly make you talk about it, constantly make you think about it. And other people are like, no, I would rather talk about this new thing. The Rock is, bullying his way into WrestleMania. I would rather talk about that because, well, I have no control over the Vince McMahon Janelle Grant thing. Most people either picked a side or they hadn't. Either they are on the side of Janelle Grant and they want Vince to go to prison, or they on the side of Vince and they think Janelle Grant's just a hooker. Whatever the case may be, you still ain't got no control over it. They're paying attorneys to handle this. So we'll figure it out when they figure it out. We have no control over that. And we could compartmentalize these things. I can care about that, and I can care about this, and I can care about that, but I can choose to discuss this right now. Because this is what I want to talk about right now. This is what I feel like expressing myself on right now. I am a multifaceted person, and so many other people are too. Just because something is happening that is horrible somewhere on the other side of the planet doesn't mean that you don't care about things that happen in your same neighborhood. It still doesn't mean that you're not going to be affected by a movie that you just watched or a TV show or something going on with your children. Like I said, I was in the midst of all this stuff. I fell down the rabbit hole of learning about Sesame Street. Oh my God, I must have done something horrible because I actually wanted to know how the Big Bird puppet worked. How dare I? I should have been thinking about Janelle Grant this whole time. No, what, are you kidding me? You're ridiculous, and people are tired of it. And what happened is he apparently got yelled down, and he deleted these tweets. And he was like, "Well, I mean, Jesus." Ricochet, he did a "We Want Cody" thing, but he came out and said that the IWC was toxic. Ava Raine was getting death threats. Look, there's a lot of this stuff. There are people going entirely too far over wrestling angles. You know, we can say like those people are psychotic. They're going too far over wrestling angles. But are you even better because you're on some kind of moral high ground and you're wishing death and incarceration on Vince McMahon, or you're wishing, you know, from the river to the sea when it comes to Israel? Are you some kind of better human being? It's like, no, you're a shitheel, but you're a shitheel for a different direction. How about we just, you know, this is the issue that we have chosen to engage with, and that is pro wrestling, about an angle on something we saw on television collectively, and we speculate about that. That doesn't mean we don't have other concerns about other issues, but we're talking about this right now. This is the subject right now. Well, the subject shouldn't be anything except, I did a video on this, right? That's what they're trying to do to Chris Van Vliet. Trying to force him to talk about what they want him to talk about in the way that they want him to talk about it. They do the same thing to me and you. All right? This is what everybody's out here trying to do. They're trying to force you to get on code and talk about this lawsuit and talk about only the lawsuit. It's like, no. Oh, the lawsuit is why The Rock is going to wrestle. And it's like, they talked about this way before this fucking lawsuit happened. When did The Rock first mention wrestling Roman Reigns? It was on like College Game Day. How many months ago? Long before the lawsuit happened. So you see all this stuff, and you see like John Pollock from Post Wrestling come out saying this is a distraction from the lawsuit. It's like they were planning this for months already. You know, this was a plan. This is something they discussed last year amongst, you know, their intelligentsia within WWE. And the fact that it's happening now is very fortuitous for them, because it does overshadow a little bit the Vince McMahon thing, because it's a court case. Again, an allegation was made. There's going to be some kind of response or a settlement or whatever. But we ain't got no control over that. The only thing we can do is wait until something else happens. But this is happening right now. This is a emerging story, something that is going on in front of us right now. There's people online destroying The Rock. All right. Again, they're attacking his daughter. She ain't got nothing to do with this. All right. It's completely unfair for people to be going after his daughter. That makes no sense. And I know, I can't believe Cody Rhodes still has fans to that degree that they're actually going to go after The Rock's daughter. Are you brain dead? Why would you do something like that? And I guarantee you some of these people were setting Cody t-shirts on fire when he left AEW. They were happy as pigs and shit when he lost at WrestleMania so they could laugh at him. But now they're like, oh, The Rock, I hate The Rock. It's like, come on. Relax. Please relax. And we constantly have been inundated with this crap. You know, somebody comes out, we want Cody. Well, why aren't you saying anything about the Vince McMahon lawsuit? It's like, he's not an attorney. He's not an attorney for the defense. He's not an attorney. He's not a prosecutor. Who cares what Ricochet's opinion is on the Vince McMahon lawsuit anyway? Why would I give a fuck about what Ricochet's opinion is on the Vince McMahon lawsuit? It's not going to swing my opinion one way or the other. And that's why I say I don't want to turn this channel into that. Because there are people who are doing that. You know? Every time somebody else speaks on it, it becomes an article. It becomes the most talked about thing, and it's like it's not relevant. Nothing nobody else can say is going to change my opinion. You only thing you can do is offer me perspective, you know? And I'm more interested in the legal perspective than anything, not your emotional reaction to things. And that's the same thing with pretty much any issue. I want to try to get to the core of it, to the heart of it. And then I'm going to let it go because I ain't got no control over it. So Sami Zayn just happened to be the guy who decided who he was going to be performatively outraged online, that you're not caring about real issues, and now he's a victim. Now he's a victim. I'm sorry, Sami, but people are tired of being told what they should care about. People are tired of being lectured. Enough. Get the fuck out of here with that. All right, let's get into this main show, okay? Seth Rollins, he's still not medically cleared, and they kept yelling about this. So Seth Rollins wanted to show Roman Reigns that he can get pops. So he came in the ring. He stood there. It took longer than usual, but the crowd started to chant his theme song, and he said, "Sound like a pretty big pop to me. Welcome to everybody to Monday Night Raw." He got a big pop again. He's like, "Sound like another big pop to me." That was not a good answer to your tribal chief. I'm gonna just try to shorten this up. The crowd is chanting that they want Cody. Seth Rollins also wants Cody. A Rocky sucks chant breaks out. Michael Cole is questioning whether it's 1996, even though it was more like 1997. Seth Rollins calls out Cody. Cody comes out there. Seth Rollins says he stands by his words that he said last week that the World Heavyweight Championship is the most prestigious title in this company, in this world. But he's not going to lie. He needs this match. He needs to prove that he's better than he was when they wrestled 2 years ago. He needs to test himself against the best to make sure that he is the best. And he questioned whether Cody is going to fight him. Before Cody can respond, Drew McIntyre comes out there. Drew McIntyre says he set this whole thing up. He's the reason why this is happening, because he took out CM Punk. And these guys are trying to screw it up. And he says that he hates CM Punk. He knows Seth Rollins hates CM Punk too. They should be celebrating. He said that he even brought a new shirt, and he takes his jacket off, and on the shirt is Drew McIntyre dancing over CM Punk's grave, his WrestleMania main event grave. It's an interpolation of the meme of the guy being happy at the funeral or whatever. It's a nice little interpolation of that. It was humorous. Drew McIntyre then said to Cody Rhodes that he's got to finish his story. You got to think about all the work that he's done, how he's earned this opportunity. He can't let anybody down. He says you can't let the fans down, can't let yourself down. Hey, you can't even let Dusty down. So Seth Rollins says, "Hey man, you need to stop trying to be a prick," and saying, "Hey, I've beaten you twice already." So Drew McIntyre said, "Well, Cody's beaten you 3 times already." So Drew McIntyre called Seth Rollins insecure, and that he should be happy for all the work that he's did for the World Heavyweight Championship. And he says, for the World Heavyweight title, it's best man can win. For the WWE Championship, it's not. You know how that ends. Roman Reigns' family is going to jump in, which is a really good, really, really good distinction for him to make. I'll explain in a second. So he says that Seth Rollins has done enough for the world title. He's taken it as far as it can go. It's his chance now to take it to the next level. And then he sucker punched Rollins. Cody Rhodes threw a couple of punches, and Drew McIntyre bailed out. So I like this. This was fun. This is showing how how manipulative Drew McIntyre is. He's pushing Cody to finish the story, to challenge Roman Reigns so that he can challenge Seth Rollins. Not because he believes in Cody at all, but he just wants Cody to get out of this conversation. Like, just get out of here. Just go beat it. Go do something else. I want to be the World Heavyweight Champion because, at least in that instance, I don't have to worry about outside interference, even though he did have outside interference twice when he tried to become World Champion. But it's a fairer match against an ailing Seth Rollins than it would be against Roman Reigns. So he wants the easy prey. So he wants Cody to go take the harder path, and I like that he made that distinction, because he didn't say, "Well, this is a consolation prize. He made it sound like the issue isn't that people can't beat Roman because he's so dominant. The issue is you'll never get a fair match against Roman Reigns. And since you'll never get a fair match against Roman Reigns, there really is no point in wrestling Roman Reigns. You can just ignore him. And that's not exactly a heroic thing, but Drew McIntyre is a villain. You know, he's evil. Of course, he's not going to go for a hard path. That's Cody's job. A lot of people wanted more from Cody here because it was a direct challenge from Seth Rollins asking him whether he was going to wrestle him, and he never got a response. They're really starting to beat people over the head with the Rock and Roman is not official yet. They're starting to say that pretty much all the time now. It is not yet official, which anybody who is paying attention would know it's not yet official. It was not announced. So it gives us some time to think. Cody Rhodes then wrestled in a bull rope match later on against Shinsuke Nakamura and won. That match was terrible. It was boring. It didn't need to happen. It was based off of a match that Nakamura attacked Cody at a house show. Completely stupid. Big dumb idiot Triple H. Why is he wrestling in these bullshit matches on television? You just had a guy go down with an injury for a match. I mean, he honestly needed to be in the Royal Rumble. CM Punk did. But Cody doesn't need to be wrestling Nakamura in fucking bull rope matches on TV. I mean, it doesn't do anybody any good, right? Okay. So to get back to the story, Cody did not accept Seth Rollins' challenge. Now, what a lot of people want is the scene that CM Punk and Ace Steel did in AEW. They want a similar scene with CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. They want, CM Punk to get in the middle of the ring, to tell Cody to stand up for himself, to fight, to do all this stuff. And I'm telling you, that would be great. That would be a great way to utilize CM Punk at WrestleMania if you could, is to put him in Cody Rhodes' corner. That would be great. I know he can't wrestle, but maybe he can throw a punch, throw a kick, or, hit somebody with his cast or something like that. That would be a good way of making sure that Cody gets a fair shot. Cody goes and maybe you put it together like a lumberjack match where, Cody recruits CM Punk and Jey Uso and maybe some other guy, and they're going to stand outside the ring to make sure the bloodline don't get involved. And I think that would be fun, I think that would be great. Maybe he talks The Rock into being in his corner at WrestleMania. And maybe that's the direction that we're going to go in. Is that Cody is going to change his mind, challenge Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, but ask The Rock to be in his corner. Ask Jey Uso to be in his corner. And ask CM Punk to be in his corner in order to counteract the bloodline. And that, I think that would be fantastic. That would be great. That would be the best way to do this. But I guess we'll get there. We'll see. I don't know. But Cody not giving us a response is nutty. I can't believe we waited 3 hours. We waited 3 days and 3-hour show. And Cody did not explain why he did what he did. There was nothing. But, there was nothing. They didn't touch on that instance at all. They didn't even ask him why he was giving up his spot at WrestleMania. There was nothing touched on this Raw. And that is what made it so terrible. Because how can you skip story beats like this? I understand that Cody's involved with a lot of different things. He's got main character issues right now where he's in multiple feuds at once. But he still has to address the A story. The fact that he's not challenging Roman Reigns. I know that, that's kind of what he was discussing with Seth Rollins, but he didn't really get there. He didn't really get to say anything. He didn't really get to complete a thought or give us any idea. So now we got to wait, 4 days for SmackDown and hope that Cody is going to explain himself. Or I think the press conference is in 3 days. It's on Thursday, yeah? So they're going to try to figure out what's going on Thursday at the press conference. They're going to break that thing down, and then it's going to, of course, roll into Friday. So we'll see. But to me, this was a blown opportunity to make Raw, at least, an interesting show from Cody's perspective, as we actually get to hear what he says without the input of Roman Reigns or The Rock, because neither one of them was going to be present, you know. But whatever, I don't know. They did this silly fatal 4-way match: Imperium, DIY, the Creed Brothers, and the New Day. The winners were going to face Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, and of course DIY would win. Of course they would win. You can't have anybody 6 foot in a match anymore. Like, what are you thinking? What's going on here? This match was long as hell. I hate this match. I hate it. This match was so long. And Triple H just strikes again, man. All of these fucking midgets, indie midgets too. God damn, this match lasted forever. Next, they're doing Elimination Chamber qualifiers, which makes sense, sensible. Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler was the first one. Becky Lynch says she needs to beat Shayna Baszler. She beat her last time because her title was on the line. She's got to beat her this time because her future is on the line. And she did defeat Shayna Baszler in another match that was so long. This match was long as hell too. Oh my God. Of course, the women's Elimination Chamber match is to wrestle Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. Oh boy, his match is forever. Zoe Stark and Liv Morgan are next up. They're wrestling next week. Liv Morgan cut a promo saying she plans to beat Zoe Stark, and that these girls have nothing to do with her business. She has nothing to do with theirs. Her business is about revenge. Rhea Ripley took a year of her career, and she wants revenge. Now, completely sensible story that would make more sense if Liv Morgan was going after Rhea Ripley, you know, and I know that she wants to fight Rhea Ripley because she said that, but why is she so well behaved? You know, like, that's one of the things that kind of always blow my mind in wrestling is some people are so well behaved. I'm going to do this the exact right way instead of just, you know, attacking Rhea Ripley. And, you know, I think Liv Morgan used to carry a bat, right? She should have cracked Rhea Ripley across the knee with the bat. Everybody would have known what it was going to be about when she started screaming about it. You know, why not? Clearly, Liv Morgan is not going to win this Elimination Chamber match. You know, they got this story for her going into it, but she's not going to win this match. Becky Lynch is winning this match. Otherwise, who the hell is Becky Lynch going to wrestle at WrestleMania? So, my guess is that Liv Morgan is going to get into that match, but she's not going to win it. So I know Triple H is probably going to have to bite the bullet and have his girl Zoe Stark do the job for Liv Morgan, who I know he can't stand. And a lot of people can't stand her, if we're being honest. But it's the right thing to do. You know, and they're probably going to come down to Liv and Becky as the last two. But the storyline with Liv Morgan's revenge, they have not been playing that up. Not much anyway. So there's no chance in my view that that's going to change anything. Rhea Ripley was, of course, fighting mad as she came out. She wanted to fight Nia Jax. Adam Pearce told her to relax. This now was not the time. Well, Elimination Chamber is the time. Nia Jax versus Rhea Ripley is set up. Then Nia Jax comes out there, promptly beats up everybody, and Banzai drops Rhea Ripley. Okay, I mean, I think we all saw this coming. They did an interview with, I think it was called the West Australian or something like that, where Rhea Ripley was the featured star. And she talked about being a huge fan of Ric Flair, Triple H, Last Man Standing match from Survivor Series. I think it was 2006. I love that match, by the way. That match was phenomenal. And that's the match that made her a wrestling fan. And then she became a fan of The Miz. And that's her favorite wrestler of all time. And I know that if people who love her, specifically like a Jim Cornette, found out that her favorite wrestler is The Miz and not fucking Dennis Condrey or something like that, his head would explode. It'd be like, you know, Mr. Mackey from South Park. It'd just get huge and just start fucking floating away like a blimp or something like that. But I thought it was funny. I popped when she said her favorite wrestler was The Miz. Huge pop. Huge pop for that. So clearly Rhea Ripley is going to main event the show. That's kind of where we're sitting right now. She's going to be the star of the Elimination Chamber show. Granted, The Rock or Cody or somebody like that doesn't wrestle in a big match at the show. All right, Maxine Dupree and Akira Tozawa are defeated by Valhalla and Ivar. Look, Maxine Dupree stinks. As a wrestler, she stinks. She is so bad. So bad. And look, a lot of it is that you can see that she rehearsed some of this stuff. She's been practicing, but her timing is not good. And Valhalla is just not great at all, period. So clearly, if you put Maxine Dupree in the ring with somebody who might be a better ring general, you might get something better out of her. But this constantly her wrestling Valhalla thing is not working. I think they might have had one decent encounter, but everything else they've done has been the shits. Everything that involves Ivar and Akira Tozawa has been a garbage. All right? It has been shredded ass. I can't stand it. It's garbage. Next, Judgment Day. They're backstage. They're talking about the tag team titles. They're talking about Rhea Ripley, even though Rhea Ripley has already been crushed. R-Truth thinks that he's been jumped into the Judgment Day. He thinks it was an initiation. Everybody, of course, tells him that he's crazy and it's not real. Finn Balor gets frustrated and leaves. JD McDonough has a match coming up, so he leaves. Dominic goes with him. And Damian Priest just says, well, he didn't really want to argue with R-Truth because he knows that it's not going anywhere. And he just decides, you just do your thing. Do whatever you want. And he just walks off. Which leads people to believe that R-Truth is in Judgment Day, even though he got beat up last week. So, The Miz says that everybody loves R-Truth because he straddles the line between genius and stupid, or genius or insane, or something like that. And that attacking R-Truth is a declaration of war, because they're trying to put Awesome Truth back together. Triple H trying to put everything back in the tube. It don't work that way, bro. You just can't put things back together. This stuff needs to be explained. Anyway, The Miz versus JD McDonough. Match nobody wanted to see. R-Truth comes out giving away t-shirts, which was funny. And then he becomes almost Bugs Bunny-like, where he ties up Dominic Mysterio in a t-shirt. JD McDonough's got the advantage, so R-Truth distracts him by giving him a wad of money. So he's finally paying JD McDonough for his likeness on his t-shirt. And of course, with his back turned, he gets hit with a skull-crushing finale and pinned. So you start getting the idea that R-Truth is actually helping The Miz, like on purpose. And it's not just goofy R-Truth being silly, but again, like it's a well-crafted scheme where he's playing dumb. And I don't like that. I like R-Truth being a little dumb. There was another article that came out recently where R-Truth says that he still has dreams of being a WWE champion. And he thinks that he can get it, he can make it happen. This guy is 52 years old. He's been a comedic jobber for the last, 10 years? And he still believes he can be WWE champion. That's crazy. That is crazy. That's probably one of the more delusional things that has ever come out of R-Truth's mouth. But everybody loves him, so I wouldn't lose any hair over it. I wouldn't lose any sleep if R-Truth became WWE champion. I wouldn't be a big fan of it because of the way he's been portrayed on television. But I wouldn't hate it. And I don't think anybody would complain. I think people would stand up and cheer for it. Absolutely. It'll get old in 10 minutes. But I think I'm not, going to sit here and say it should happen. But I'm just surprised. And you know what? My heart is kind of warm that he hasn't given up on it. As long as he's on television, as long as he's got an opportunity, it's possible. As long as you stay healthy, it's possible. It's not completely improbable. It's not going to happen, I'll tell you that much. But, what can I say? Imperium threw a 600-day celebration for Gunther. Gunther says this will be the first one and the last one. There's no need to celebrate anymore after this. Because 700, 800, 1,000 days are all going to be the same. He's going to be the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. He's running out of competition. There's nobody left. And then Jey Uso's theme music starts to play. Jey Uso comes out there. Pat McAfee is standing on the desk. I mean, he's out. Pat McAfee, the energy level just goes all the way up when he's involved. He's on the desk doing a little dance with Jey Uso and everything. It is great. Awesome visual. St. Louis is going nuts for Jey. They're yeeting and all this kind of stuff. So Gunther says he's sensing some disrespect, and Jey said, no. You know, I've seen all the work you did. I respect you, yada, yada, yada. So then Gunther pays Jey respect, talking about his tag team accomplishments, but says that, hey, you only did 50% of the work. Unlike me, who's the Intercontinental Champion, I did everything myself. So Jey Uso says, well, you're going to get 100% of this work. Ended up challenging Gunther for an Intercontinental Championship. Gunther accepted the challenge, says that, you know, he's going to beat him so bad. He's going to beat him worse than his family ever did. He's going to beat him so bad, he's going to wish for the days where he couldn't tell him and Jimmy apart. So then he headbutted Jey, and then the New Day came out to save him, setting up a 6-man tag for next week that I don't want to see. I don't think anybody else wants to see it either. Caden Carter and Katana Chance lost to the Kabuki Warriors. KC Squared, they do some really cool tag team moves, but they're not over, and neither are the Kabuki Warriors. It is very shameful that everybody in this match gets no reaction whatsoever. And this is about the only time Kairi Sane looks dangerous, because the opponents are her size, and her strikes actually look like they make contact at this point. But this match is a mess. Just nobody cares about these girls, man. This is highly unfortunate, because all they do is wrestle. They don't talk. They don't. If you didn't know who Kairi Sane was before, they haven't shown you anything or done anything to get her over. The one thing about Kairi Sane before is that she was cute pirate girl. You know, she was doing silly stuff like, you know, she would have a telescope, or she'd have a sailing wheel, and you'd be like, what's going on with this? Why is she doing this stuff? And then they explain to you that she likes yachts and, you know, all this kind of stuff. She likes to go boating. She was a pirate. She had like a pirate chest, and it was like real fun shit that kind of jumped out at you. Now she just kind of carries an umbrella, and she hangs around Asuka, and it's like she's little Asuka, except for Asuka is, you know, ferocious with her kicks and stuff. And Kairi Sane, you know, she kicks like a little girl, you know, maybe because she is a little girl. Sami Zayn, they did a promo for Sami Zayn. I'm going to shorten this up. Sami Zayn was up in the stands. He was being contemplative, thinking about his future, and saying that Triple H told him after his great year, after his match with Roman Reigns, that he was Rocky Balboa. You don't win the championship, but you take the champion to the limit. And he says that he can fight like an underdog. He understands that he might be, to some people, an underdog, but he's a contender now. And he wants to prove to the audience that he's a contender. He wants to prove to the audience that he can be world champion. He wants to prove the audience, the people who believed in him, he wants to prove them right. And that was very well done. That was tremendous. It was a really good promo. And now I'm starting to think that Sami Zayn might be the guy that gets the World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania. And if you can't put it on Punk, and you can't put it on Drew, you can't put it on Gunther, you can put it on Sami Zayn. And I think people will absolutely, positively accept Sami Zayn as the successor to the World Heavyweight Championship in defeating Seth Rollins. And I think that would be a great WrestleMania moment. You know, I think, you know what? I'm for it. Thumbs up. It's a Super Intercontinental Championship, so it's not like he's going to be the WWE champion. It's a next level Intercontinental title. So he was a great Intercontinental champion. He could be a great World Heavyweight champion. So I'm pushing for Sami Zayn to get the match with Seth Rollins. I don't know how we would get there. Maybe you do Elimination Chamber is how he gets there. But I like the idea, and they're introducing it now because you're Triple H and you're checking the boxes and you're saying we can't use this guy, can't use that guy. The one guy that always has sympathy, who can always be over, who you could believe in, who's got fire, who's got intensity, and the crowd is waiting for his opportunity, Sami Zayn. So that works out. All right, that's Monday Night Raw. Not a good show, very boring. But what can you do? Let me know what you guys thought of the show, and I'll talk to you guys later. Happy birthday to Papa Slade.